Hi, this is Pranav Goa Thakurta from EduTV. Today we have got a very distinguished panel with us. We have with us Mr. Raj Nehru, who is the Vice Chancellor of Vishwakarma Skill University, the first skill university of India. We have with us Mr. Sharad Garg, who has been in the corporate for more than 28 years, heading HRs of various companies like Blue Dart, Secure Meters, Birlas. We have with us Mr. Devashish Bhattacharya. He's a surgeon, now started his own business. And with us is Ms. Rashmi Kapoor. She's the managing director of Psychorian Matrimonials. And we have got Captain Kunal Unyal. Mr. Unyal is running a maritime institution in Dehradun. So welcome, Mr. Unyal.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the kind invitation.
What we will do, we'll have 3 minutes for everyone. And fine. And the topic is bridging the gap between skill and jobs. And what kind of, after this new normal, what kind of jobs or what kind of training students or candidates should take? And so we can start with Mr. Raj Nehru. Sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to you for getting me on to this conversation. And I'm glad that there are so many panelists, very elite panelists from the industry as well as from the academia. So a couple of things that we currently see when we look at the job market. One important thing we need to understand that there are certain changes. While Corona has brought in a bigger challenge, I would like to share a couple of more things that have been happening in the industry, and that is now becoming a more bigger challenge in the coming days. One important challenge is that on the one side, most of the industry job roles, they are emerging now in the form of hybrid jobs that we see in the industry. And when I say the hybrid jobs, that they are the jobs that create whole new categories by mashing up the disciplines. And these jobs are essentially combining technical expertise in one or more domains with the expertise in design, project management, or customer interaction. So this is on the one side that that's happening in the industry, and it is resulting into, for example, various changes in the job titles. For example, we now have various jobs. If you see every day in the advertisements, they are looking for jobs like data scientist, machine learning engineer, experienced architect, IoT engineer, or you have digital marketing specialists. Similarly, with these changes, there is a sudden need that has emerged in various jobs, especially in the domains where data analysts, digital marketing has become a very important aspect. Analytics has become a very important aspects of the job, and it is becoming combining technical skills with the systems expertise as well as the chosen domain related skills. So this is one thing that is happening in the industry. And on the other side, if you look at the new millennials today, compared to the traditional aspirations, millennials are no longer looking for the stable careers, and they are not keen to stick to a company. They are not very keen to join a company and retire from that company. So their aspirations are to move often and take up opportunities that excite them, and regardless of the organization whichever they work. And that's where the aspirations of the youngsters have also changed. So on the one side, you have industry looking at a very different kind of a profile, which is a hybrid profile among the youngsters. They want to see the many aspects among the youngster. And on the other side, youngsters also look for a different expectation. So this match has resulted into emergence of various areas. One of the areas is the skill side. So where today there is a need where the youngsters are taken through some of the skills which are more related to the emotional stability, which are youngsters are taken through more about problem solving and decision making. Youngsters are taken through the skill sets that can help them to work in a collaborative environment and in an environment where they require to demonstrate networking skills. So these are some of the important skills along with the critical thinking. So on the one side, these skill sets are fundamentally important when we look at the youngsters when they enter into the organization. But on the other side, when you look at the harder side, you have the new technologies, which is IoT or cloud or robotics, machine learning, artificial intelligence. These are some of the areas where today youngsters are expected to be ready for. And then you have two important shifts happening in the market. While the kind of job roles that we are today seeing in the market are not the ones which we see in the past. So there's a huge change in the kind of profile, the requirement for those job roles. And because of that, you will have lesser traditional job roles. So you will have more new kind of job roles, and for which the skill sets, as I said, they are required by the youngsters. But at the same time, it has also paved the way for self-employability. Given the kind of skill sets, the need today is on the platforms, new platform opportunities where the youngsters can, if they learn these skills, which are e-commerce skills or IoT skills, it can give them opportunity of working on their own and become self-employable, create more opportunities. So I think these aspects, on the one side, softer and the harder skills, there is a shift, there's a change, and if adequate amount of focus is done. The only problem today we face is that our infrastructure is still old. We are not aligning our infrastructure to the emergence of the new changes. So infrastructure is a big challenge. The skill sets of the faculties, teachers is very critical challenge today. The pedagogy is still continuing to be an old pedagogy where faculties have not moved to the new learning norms. So I think especially now the post-corona, there is a big need of blended solutions, and most of the teachers today are not even conversant with the basic shift that has happened on the platforms. Forget the technological interventions. So there is a big need to make adaptation of our faculties, teachers, infrastructure, institutions, trainers to this new norm. And the last one is with the emergence of corona, there are certain sectors which have gained momentum, especially the health sector and the technology sector. These sectors have gained a significant moment, and many of the sectors like health and retail and sales, in fact, some automobile sectors have also seen a significant shift for contactless operations. So many new job roles are now getting shifted to this kind. So I think let me start with this brief one, so maybe we can hear more from the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nehru. Now I'll request Mr. Sharad Garg. Sir, you have been into this HR industry for a very long time. You have seen the ups and curves in this. Sir, what kind of skills you suggest for the upcoming generation?
Basically, if you look at today's generation, everybody wants a quick return, and the quick learning, and that quick learning is not available, as rightly said by Mr. Nehru, that there's the old pedagogy is happening, there's faculty is not there, facilities are not available for the people to learn new things. And if you look at the present scenario, present skilled manpower, we say so-called skilled manpower, they are not fit at all for the industry. They are not fit at all to come into the place where they are really looking, where the industry is looking at for them. Let's look at the delivery part. Since I'm from the logistics background, so I'll say the delivery part. Things are the people are not taking it so seriously. The boys are not adhering to the norms of deliveries properly, and thus resulting in, if you see the spread of this disease through them, if you not to anybody's surprise, but they are one of the biggest carriers across. Learning zeal is not there, the people as of now, and the precautions and the learning, we need to really inculcate the skill of learning need to be developed in these boys and the girls and the new generation. And there's a gap of 2 to 3 months now. The things have started moving up and opening up. So we need to really look at recharging them, rather again they're relearning for these guys, and we can bring them some digital classes and make them aware about what's happening, what industry needs as of now. So this is very much required as of now. And otherwise this skill gap and this lack of learning will lead us to a very bad situation, which I feel as of now. Otherwise, though then there are certain sectors, core sectors, they will continue to be the same as they were working previously. Your call centers, yes, of course, now they have moved into home things. Similarly, your digital platforms have also moved into the work from home base. So a lot of things have changed. Now companies have started reducing their working space also. They say, okay, we'll not occupy 100, 200 or 300 or 2,000 or 3,000 workspace. Or we'll work with 100 space. We'll call the people on in as and when required. Otherwise, we don't want these big spaces. So work environment has really changed, and to adopt that, we need to really inculcate this particular work from home. And that is because of this also, since people are being isolated. Earlier there was a mixing of the people, social gathering, social mixing was there. So this social mixing was also a part where people used to learn from each other. Now everybody is isolated and they're working from home, or maybe a max is they are connected on WhatsApp or on Zoom or Skype. All these platforms, they're connected, but socially they're not. So that is also creating a mental block in the people, and that also need to be worked on.
Sharad, I think we have lost your voice. Mr. Sharad?
That is also creating a problem in terms of skill development. So we need to develop these basics, very basics of human psychology. Until we address these points, I don't think that we will there's any use of giving them any skill enhancement or anything for that matter. So I will go to very basics, that these basic human traits need to be addressed immediately. Otherwise, we are going to have a generation which is frustrated, which are not going to give you anything. There are except frustration, and you will have a lot of this crime. You will have a lot of suicide. You will have a lot of fightings on streets. So this is going to happen very soon. But being in the industry, that we need to address these basics, the human aspects, and address them very seriously, without which will not be succeed. Yes, of course, as Mr. Du has said, they are also required, because there's a total paradigm shift in terms of your skill set required. I understand there was Iman has gone through one of the advertisements which came on WhatsApp. People want a WhatsApp executive. They want WhatsApp. They must do a lot of WhatsApp all across the whole day. They must send WhatsApp marketing, all these things. These things are definitely changing, and but first we need to address is the human aspect, that human psychology, the human nature. That is most important. That's what my intake is about.
Thank you, Mr. Garg. Now I would request Debashish.
Yes.
Debashish, you have studied in India and now you are studied in UK. What is your advice on the Indian context?
Yeah, Pranav.
What kind of courses, what kind of skills students should acquire now?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Nehru, Mr. Garg, and thanks, Pranav, for having put me on this very august board. Now, the whole question of skills and reskilling was always there because of automation and digitization. And even in the pre-COVID time, we were thinking that, when this happens, so many people will be going out of job. How do we reskill people? So we were already there. And then suddenly one fine morning, our unwelcome guest Corona comes in. And it is just like in school when we used to go in and the teacher would walk in and say surprise test. You were thinking of terminal, you got a surprise test, you don't know what the answer is. Right. So we were all caught unawares. But quite interestingly, we have all reacted in a very positive way, though it's very slow. The first thing is, as what Mr. Nehru and Mr. Garg was emphasizing, is the personality. And I think that is the biggest thing that in India we need to focus on, which we realize later on when we come to work. It is not how good you are in maths or physics or chemistry or biology. It is what you are as a person. And the first big lesson that we have learned now is in leadership. In India, when we grow up, we see Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, and these people. The heroism has finished. Okay. Now it has become a kind of a team sport. Like, you will not have the answers. You will now learn how to work in where everything is ambiguous, and you have to provide leadership. And that is a time you will have to reach out to your friends, to your colleagues, and even outside your organization. So teamwork is very, very important, and that is where we lack. We stress too much on IIT, medical, doing the mathematics or physics and chemistry. We just forget that there is a sports field, there is a games field, or we need to learn to communicate effectively with each other. We can all speak the language very nicely. So effective communication, teamwork, and working in complete ambiguity, where you do not have the answers. And the big thing that we need to learn is humility. I don't have the answer, so I will ask my friend or my colleague and my neighbor. And this is one big attitude I feel should be instilled right from the schools, that you are not God gift to humanity. You might come first in class and get the top rank in IIT, but then when you go to work, you will probably have to depend on the chap who used to come last in class. Okay, so this kind of a humility and the ability to work in a team, okay, where people will have various personalities. When in India, when you work, we are blessed that we are in India, because supposing you go to do a job, you will have people coming from Punjab who are one type, coming from Bengal who are one type, coming from southern India, from Bombay, all with very different attitudes and cultures. And it is the ability to assimilate all different kinds of cultures and getting the best out of each individual. And that is something people need to learn. And this has to be encouraged and instilled in. In the Western world, if you don't come first in class, your teacher says, fine, you're not good in studies, you're good in something else. So it is very important for all of us that, especially I went to schools, I was one of the better students. Everything in the school was for me. For me, life was an oyster. I was a top chap, and, principal is telling me, okay, fine, this time you do this. But out of 40 people, everybody didn't have a very good school life. We forgot about the last 10 people. So it is time that we instill in each and every person that you're not God's gift to humanity. Okay, you may be the CEO of the company, but tomorrow somebody else who knows data analytics better is more important than the CEO. So this organization, this is very, very important. Another thing is perseverance and motivation. You have to fail. In India, what happens is when I grew up, it was a big shame if I did not get the highest mark and something we used to hide. No, no. We always emphasize on our successes. No, we should all now kind of wear our scars with a lot of pride. This is what I learned. Things have to be very objective. If you do not do well in an examination, that is not the end of the world. And parents and teachers have to emphasize not on whether you've got 100 out of 100 or you've done the best in the world, but what have you learned? And this attitude of learning has to be there right from the early school days. Okay, and the pressure that we put on children, you have to come first in class, you have to do this. No, I think the pressure would be you have to be a better person, you have to be a better human being. I remember when we used to get our report cards, the one side was about all the marks we got, and the other side were the skills. They're there in India. Every school has that. But the other page, nobody looked at it. My parents would look at my rank, and that would decide whether I would be quarantined for the next few months or whether I would be free to do whatever I want. So I think more important now, right from school, right from the right, when you're at university, when you're coming into work, the other side has become very, very important. Because today you might start off thinking, I started off thinking I'm going to be a big cardiothoracic vascular surgeon. But somewhere down the line, I realized that I had different skill sets. Oh, is it okay? Okay, I realized that I had different skill sets, and we should teach our people to look within. This is the situation. The situation in Corona is today, you might be very skilled in something, but at this very moment, there is no job. You have to learn to look at the bigger picture, the commercial awareness. What can actually make wealth? We should make wealth creators. And that is something which counts when you have a personality. Okay, like when I was in my own local area, the biggest place which has suffered are the arts, the musicians. Nobody even looks at them. They are waiting for government grants. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. So I got involved because I'm an arts entrepreneur too, with all these artists in my local area. I said, listen, fine, you practice your arts for the next 2 years. There are no shows, okay? So, but we have to have a way. We need to earn. So I made them, kind of do things like, we built a cafe around them. We got them into making masks and things like that. Contact people in the arts, they have very good communication skills. So build that, okay? It is not necessary that there's no ego, which is there in the West. And I think we should inculcate this in India. Just because I'm a surgeon, I have to only do surgery. If I don't do surgery, I don't do anything else. And this is something which Corona has taught us. And we should instill this in our next generation. It is also learning for us. What else can I do? My job is not there. When the lockdown finishes, I don't have a job. I have no earning. At the moment, I am being furloughed or something. What else can I do? And that only comes when you teach people to look within. Negotiation, persuasion, right from the little children. I think we need to disrupt education. And that is the first thing that we need to do. Once we disrupt education, once we change the way people think, I think we will be in a much better place. I'll probably keep quiet now and I'll listen to everybody else's, and we can go for a much longer
Now
debate.
we welcome Mr. Somnath Bharti, who is a member of the Legislative Assembly in Delhi, and he's also Supreme Court lawyer. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Pranab, and good afternoon, the co-panelists, illustrious people who are there. And I'm sorry for being late for a couple of minutes, by I think 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yes.
I
No
was
problem,
busy
sir.
today doing plantation. So
Okay.
today I planted around 10,000 plants in the constituency.
Whoa.
Delhi government is planting 31 lakhs plants across Delhi that were extended in my constituency today.
Sir, I will just introduce your co-panelist. We have Mr. Sharad Garg. Mr. Sharad Garg is an HR expert from last 28 years. We have Mr. Raj Nehru. He's the Vice Chancellor of Vishwakarma Skill University. We have Mr. Debashish Bhattacharya. He's a entrepreneur in England. He's speaking from UK only right now. We have Captain Kunal Unyal. He runs a maritime, a shipping institution in Dehradun. And we have Rashmi ma'am, you know. So, sir, we would like to have your advice for the students and younger generation to what kind of skills they should take so that they can get jobs during and post pandemic.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so see, in fact, Pranav and I have been discussing for quite some, I think it's a month around.
Right.
And what is emerging and what has been my experience since day one from the time when I was at IIT, that what we impart, equipping them for the challenges which the world imposes, brings to their sort of situation. So my understanding has been, and as a legislator, it has been my duty to provide good governance to the nation and to Delhi in particular. I have always been of the view that there has to be a lot of tweaking which is required in the education system to ensure that the people who are coming out of these institutions, whether it be colleges or schools, they should be readily employable to the by the industries. But there is a big gap because what Pranav has designed today's topic, bridging the gap between skills and jobs. So it's a very, very pertinent topic because today's children straight out of the colleges are not employable. They have to be equipped with something which the market at present requires. And that is why this topic is too pertinent as to the situation today. In pandemic is throwing new challenges, new situations. World will never be the same. The world, the way it has been. So there will be two era now. The way we talk about BC and AD. Similarly, we'll talk about pre-corona and post-corona. So post-corona, the jobs will definitely get a different perspective. Market will emerge. New markets will also emerge. So do we have that dynamic education system in the nation to prepare our children to face new challenges? That's a huge question which is before us as well, because we're the administrators of Delhi in particular, and before every politician who is into parliament or into assembly to answer this big question.
Great, sir.
May I suggest something, Pranav? Here, Somnath ji has really given an insight to it. What I suggest, like we admit students at a very young level at Sainik schools. If you look at the Sainik schools, they are our home ground for forces, basically. Whether it is for all armed forces, any branch, Navy, Army, or Air Force. The first step taken by the Sainik school is to train these guys, train these students, train these young minds for the forces. And then from there, they move to NDA or to IMA as per their qualification or as per their choice. So most of the Sainik school boys and girls, they go to NDA first. Similarly, in the same fashion, we can look at the industry or speak to the industry and them, okay, what you want, because we see like in software industry, we know that what they are really looking at every year. Thousands and thousands of students are absorbed by them. Similarly, in manufacturing side also, we have certain industries which are really looking for some skilled manpower, which is not available in the market. They have to be retrained. If they employ somebody, they have to be trained by these companies. So why not prepare these some courses or maybe some syllabus in the same fashion as the industry requires, and put those guys into that particular syllabus, a particular course line, and then move. So, our one of the most sought after is ITIs, where an ITI welder and trades. These trades can be put into the colleges also or schools also at a much advanced level, because here, if we say fitter or a welder or a electrician, things have really changed in the world. And if you look at the overall scenario now, uh, I think the technology has become very advanced in these areas, and if they've introduced these technologies to these people, these young students, uh, we definitely will have a skilled manpower with us all the time, available for the market. So, and moreover, there will not be any gap also, because gap is the skill as well as the our manpower which is available for employment. So employability will increase with this type of courses getting into. That's what I would add on.
Wonderful. I think Mr. Raj Nehru is working on the same lines and in a very big scale. Raj sir, what is your advice on this? What Mr. Garg said just now.
Yeah, that's true. I think what Sri Vishwakarma Skill University is today doing is a very pioneering model where entire programs that the university today runs and enrolls students for, the programs are based on a very unique pedagogical intervention where the entire course curriculum is developed by our industry experts along with our faculties. So the first thing we have done is we have identified certain areas in the industry where today there is a demand, the current job roles and the future job roles. And with these, we have created sectoral board of studies in the university. And these board of studies, they work along with the sectoral industry experts and work on the current and emerging job roles and curate that into the curriculum of the program. The third important thing is that for every program, there is an industry partner. Now, what's the most important part of this program is that the program is run as it is developed inside the campus of the industry. So today, all of our programs, they operate from the industry campus. So our notional extension of Sri Vishwakarma Skill University is today inside the campus of the industry. We have 100 industry partners today with whom we run undergraduate programs, postgraduate programs, diploma, certification, and now we are starting PhD this year. Now the format of the program is that the students role for these programs, their classes happen inside. Is from the university, they get their training expertise inside the industry through the industry mentors, and the teaching of the student happens inside the industry. The curriculum is 60% work and 40% classroom. So now see the beauty. The students who join the university and are stationed in the industry, their classes happen there for the 40% of the theoretical curriculum. The 60% of the curriculum is earned through work. So the entire work is pivoted around the theory. The student goes and works in the industry. For that 60%, the student is also paid. Now this becomes an earn and learn model. And the students who are coming from the far-flung areas are getting into an earn and learn model. They are not dependent on the parents. And the most important thing is the experience they gather, they earn, is the most relevant one and the most latest one, because they are working on the new technology, new infrastructure, new machines, and side by side with the mentors of the industry. And eventually when they complete their program, they are aligned with the culture of the organization, values of the organization. They understand the skill sets that are being preferred by the industry in the hard line and the soft line, and they they modify their behaviors as well and align to the requirements of the industry. And by this, when their courses are over, they become the first choice for the industry to be absorbed. So today, almost 70 to 80% of our student pass outs, they are absorbed by the same company where they are working. And this has created a big niche and differentiator between the students who are studying in the conventional universities versus the skill university that we are focusing on. So by this way, I think one important aspect that was missing in the skill education and employability was that the gap between the educator, educatee, and the employer, because all three, we are working in three different silos. We have tried to bridge that gap by bringing all the three together. Today there is a visibility to a student what he or she is doing inside the campus. Today there's a visibility to a industry employer that the student working with him is completely getting ready for the current and the future jobs. And for the educator, the courses that are getting developed are developed as per the requirements of the current and the future requirements. And by this way, it is making our youngsters employable. The beautiful outcome which resonates with this is that those students who have decided not to work after a 3-year or a 2-year program they do, let me also tell you, almost 100% of them have become self-employed. They have started their own work. They have, because they are so skilled now that they don't need the support of industry, because the 3 years or 2 years have made them completely either self-employed or job ready.
I think Somnath sir has got the same idea. We have discussed it also to implement the same kind of thing in his constituency. Somnath sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
I think we should work more closely with Mr. Raj Nehru. He's doing a wonderful job in skill development and placing people. He runs the first skill university of India, Vishwakarma Skill University.
I see. Okay.
So I think we can have a separate chat for that. And I would request Captain Kunal Unyal from Dehradun now. I just heard about a new course curriculum and students are placeable. They placed yesterday only, I think, 3 students. Captain Unyal, can you just put some light on this?
Thank you so much, sir. Although I was invited on a very short notice, but still I will thank you for giving the invitation. I'm Captain Kunal Unyal. I've got almost 15 years of experience. I was sailing on merchant ships. I'm a master mariner. Then I quit sailing. I went to London. I did my post-graduation from Cardiff Business School. And then I was working in London for almost 3 years. So it was during that time that I realized that how different that education system abroad is from India. Abroad is totally skill-based. I was working in Baltic Exchange, the Liverpool Street, and I realized that I was the only master guy out there. All the other were just 12 pass. And I used to ask these guys, like, oh, we have so much educated, we have got so many degrees and all, and now we have got this opportunity. What about you? And they used to say, why do you need so many degrees? Do you want to go for your PhD or doctorate? You need a skill-based training. You need a skill-based course. I did that. He said, I did my 12th. I did a 3 months of short-term course, skill-based course. And I got into that industry. And I'm earning as much as what you are earning. So that was the point. So the whole idea for introducing this commercial shipping academy in India was that to bring the whole concept to India. And we are proud to say that we are the first one in India to introduce this course, which is available only in Europe at this moment. Only 4 universities are offering this course. We offer course in shipbrokering, chartering, port agency, vessel operations, maritime law. The whole idea is that, as Mr. Nehru was saying, we are working on same line, except of course that we are into maritime, and this trade is a little different from maritime. So all the other things are same. We have collaborated with companies like Arya Corp, Bulk Marine, Cross Bulk, Intro Ocean, and they're all either Singapore-based company, Hong Kong-based company, Clarksons, Brymer, they're top names. So we have collaborated with them, and we are offering a course. It's a PGDM program. One is a PGDM program, then one is in maritime business, one is in maritime law, then other is the certificate programs. The whole idea is that since the candidates will be working in the industry, in a particular skill set, they should be trained in that fashion. Since the time this planning commission has came into existence in 1950, education commission in 1947, the whole idea was to eradicate illiteracy, to train, to teach. However, problem with our system was that it has remained same over the years. Nothing has changed. Theoretical, theoretical, theoretical. Now just imagine 14 lakh engineers passing out of India each year, 5 lakh MBAs, management graduate passing out each year, and the jobs being generated are hardly 5 to 10,000. Problem is that everyone was following the crowd. Nobody was realizing where the job actually exists. That is what we came into picture. We realized that shipping is a big sector. 90% of the world trade, 95% of Indian trade is handled by ships. And till in this corona time, we have got almost 50 to 60 vacancies. Companies have approached us. Since we are the only one offering this course, they have approached, we need candidate. But problem is that we don't have candidate because nobody has idea where the job exists. Jobs are plenty, jobs are sufficient. The whole idea is that in which sector are you putting a brain into? Are you really gaining that skill that the industry need? Why will a maritime industry hire an MBA who has done his MBA in HR and finance? They need somebody who is having a knowledge, be it a basic knowledge, be it like a 2 months or 3 months or short-term crash course, but they need somebody who can do calculations for them, who can do like trans-ocean cargo operations for them, who can do legal remedies for them. If there is arbitration in Admiralty Court, there should be a maritime lawyer everywhere at their discretion. So that was the whole idea. So what we are doing is that as Vishwakarma University, we are offering part theory and part industrial experience. So we have collaborated with the companies. We have collaborated with an Indonesian-based co-training company, then a Delhi-based ship chartering company, who have opened their offices in our premise. The whole idea was to tell them to open the incubation center in our own university so that the candidate can get a real-time experience of how the ships are being run. And as soon as these guys are trained, and that's a paid internship, along with that, they're interacting with clients who are available around the globe. So we have got our clients in US, we have got our clients in Brazil, we have got in Europe, we have got in Japan. So from first day itself, they're getting an international exposure. And once they are through with the theoretical experience, they immediately are ready for hiring, and companies are more than happy to hire them on a very good pay packages. That the next thing is a pay package. Somebody who's spending so much on their study, he's expecting to get a good package. But that can only happen if it's a niche sector, if there's a vacancy out there. So the whole idea is, sir, to amalgamate the theoretical concept with the practical application into that industry where jobs exist. Jobs are plenty, jobs are sufficient. The whole idea is that you should be trained in that fashion. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, thank you. Raj sir, as Somnath sir wants to contribute to all the slum areas, so can something be done for the boys and girls out there?
Let me, Pranav.
Yes, yes, sir.
See what Captain just stated, Captain Kunal Unyal. Possibly, person like him would be the hope of every Indian today, as of today.
Correct.
And I mean, his statement that there are lots of jobs. I mean, Kunal, I'm glad to hear what all is stated just now. And this is truly has to be the approach. For quite some time, we have been debating that we prepare students as per some theoretical understanding. We are not preparing them to meet the market demands.
Correct.
Market requires something else, you're preparing something else. I remember my IIT days, we were studying Fortran and the world was on C++. You're kidding me. I told my professor at IIT that we don't need Fortran now. He said, no, it's in the syllabus. So syllabus has to be dynamic. It must be changed every time and now, very frequent. And that is how things should be proceeding towards a peaceful environment. Otherwise, the discontentment, which is always in the market. You ask anybody, are you happy? He's not happy. He wanted to be somewhere and he's somewhere else. He wanted to be a dancer and he's the clerk now. So the problem is that, and that is why you're basically giving me hope, because I keep worrying all the time that how will I employ all my people, because unemployment is directly linked to crime, and that is the major worry, because I have got many slum areas, many underprivileged stay there, many marginalized stay there. So all of them need to be gainfully employed. That is why Pranav and I were discussing out that let us find out opportunities, that let us pick up 2 slum areas. So I've been, now we have to do a survey, house to house survey, to find out their qualifications, their skill sets, and how can we prepare. So we're talking that let us explore the market first, that what all jobs are there. So those jobs requirements, do we have such candidates available in our slums? I mean, I'm talking about the most marginalized people. If not, then in what way, in what manner, in what way, and who will bridge the gap between the jobs and the skills? So I'm so glad to hear all of you that I was of course hopeful, but I think now it can be done.
Yes,
It can be done. And I'm very, very open. My government is open. In fact, what all stated, I was hearing Raj Nehru Sahab also. So, fine interaction is required between the people in power, between and the people like you, and the educationists, academicians, industrialists, many. There are many stakeholders.
Right.
All stakeholders must sit together. Otherwise, what I see that this unemployment thing is happening today. I've heard that 12 crores people have got unemployed.
Right.
Now, can you imagine what will happen on the roads? There will be crimes, because I was telling one of my friends yesterday that one of my most trusted volunteer, he was found doing some wrong. He comes from a slum. I asked him that, why did you do this? He says, sir, khane ko ek dana nahi hai. So what I'm saying, in criminology we study as a lawyer, that there is a deep link between poverty and crime. Unemployment would lead to poverty, poverty would lead to crime. So, I mean, you guys are God sent. We need to do it. It's a high time, and this is the right time when we have to bridge this gap, which is, of course, suitability of a candidate has to be. That's why I'm from your, whatever I'm gathering from your talks, I think there are two groups. One group is that assess the situation now, that how many employable youths we have as of today, and get them ready to meet those requirements of the available jobs. And then second, which is larger vision of mine and of my government, that every child comes unique.
Very true.
There is no duplication in the God's laboratory. God has created everybody unique. There is unique ID, you can say that. So it is the failure of the system to put everybody in the same basket. So whether you are mathematically talented person, you're also there, in the Hindi and Sanskrit class. Whether you are a Hindi person who is too good in literature, but you have to study the mathematical thing. So as early as possible, if the system is developed by professors like you to identify the segment for which a child is fit, and then orient him towards that. So make him that brilliant. So what Captain was saying, that he went abroad and then he saw that skills are there, and then he saw that, so we don't need those many degrees, BA, MA, PhD, and then you think job nahi hai ji. Then if you have a peon job in the country, then you find the PhDs are also applying. So this is the misfortune of the people, the planners, the people in power, and including me. I'm the new guy in the block, but we are trying hard. Education should become at least, a tool to give employment. The minimum which one can gain from education is employment. बाकी तो build-up करना है, civic sense आना चाहिए, संस्कार आने चाहिए, all that stuff, but that comes later. I think employability अगर इतनी गारंटी कर दे हमारा एजुकेशन सिस्टम की जी, आप 12-14 साल पढ़ने के बाद आपको नौकरी मिल जाएगी, एक डिग्निफाइड लाइफ जीने का तरीका मिल जाएगा, तो हमें दो पहलू में बांटने पड़ेंगे. एक तो जो इमीडिएट में कह रहा था कि आज जो असेसमेंट कर ले, लेट्स assess and start from my constituency, that if Malvinagar Assembly constituency can give a certificate to the world, look, we took steps and we tried to bridge the gap which was between what was available with our youth and what was required by the industry. And then if they get employed, guys, you will become the hope of the nation. And then education system में जो बदलाव करने वो मैंने बताया आपको. So let's start, and I'm very, very hopeful. I'm possibly God is conspiring. So one after the other, people are coming in my connection, in my contact. कुछ तो होने वाला है.
पक्का होगा.
Yeah, Pranav, can I come in here at the moment?
I'll just come to Rashmi and then come back to you.
Okay, no problem, no problem. No.
Like what Captain said, Sir said, Nehru Saab said, Garg Saab said, I think Mrs. Rashmi Kapoor, she, I think, still needs people. Am I correct, ma'am?
Yes, I am looking for people.
People say there is unemployment. All the countries are looking for people, sir. I was telling Somnath sir now, just now Sharad Garg sir said, he also said, companies need WhatsApp executives. They have to just send WhatsApp the whole day.
Yeah.
And they're taking 15,000 rupees home. You'll escape the poverty.
Yeah.
Yes, Rashmi ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See, I believe everybody rightly said that pandemic has changed the whole world. It has changed the value of everything. We are looking for digital marketing as well as telecalling. We are looking for people in our organization. And Captain Saab has correctly said that in India, we need people, those who are just educated and they do some diploma and they can be hired. In our organization also, we need people, those who can speak well. Whether you are a graduate or maybe you're a fresher, we have applied both ways. We had people, those who are just 12 pass, they really did well in our organization. There are people, those who are highly qualified, they also did well. But now in today's world, I believe everybody is just looking for money. See, new children, they don't want to work hard actually, but they have a different format in their mind. They have something else, I believe. If you train them well, I believe they can stick to your job, or they want to run, they can, in any time they can run. But yes, definitely the pandemic has changed everybody now. Everybody. So I think we need to train people now again, and we have to, create a new sideline work for them. And we have already spoken to Mr. Nehru long time back. We wanted to do it, but again, pandemic had come over, so we were stuck in between only. So that's what I would say, Pranav.
Thank you, Rashmi ma'am. Debashish, yes, please.
Yes. Thank you very much, Captain Saab and Mr. Bharti, and everybody, all the panelists. Since you're talking about the system in England or abroad, the branching starts after matriculation, after class 10. People don't do their 11 and 12. There are two models which run together. One is the apprenticeship model, which you're talking about. People go into class 11, the kind of work that they do in class 11 and 12, a lot of very skilled people cannot do. The other model was originally for research-based education, where people will go to the universities, they will do research, and they will change education. Like this is skill and this is research. In India, what basically happens is neither do we have skill nor do we have research when we go into the general, BA, MBA, or whatever it is do. So if you want to implement that, this is the right time, because at this very moment, the corona has actually thrown up. They are telling you this is the industry that is needed. And I think once people start getting into this apprentice model, they can start earning almost within the first few months with the skill sets that they have. So you have to implement this And the slums will be the best place for Mr. Bharti to implement, because he has so many people. The first thing, because I also live in a slightly backward area of the United Kingdom, and that is what we did. We got these people involved in little things like making masks, making coffee, burger, and all that. Otherwise, these people would have done drugs and what happened in Minneapolis in the US. Okay, so I think this is a fantastic idea, especially for Mr. Bharti, and you should go back from here and implement this.
Sir, and I'm hopeful that
Yes,
this
sir.
platform will give you solution.
Yes.
And of course, I'm worried about entire Delhi and India, but then I'm concentrating my focus on my constituency first, so that we can have hope from one constituency, and this can be replicated later.
Well, why not?
Model. That
Model.
can be replicated later. Ji.
Raj sir, we will be needing your help in these both the slums of Bharti Sahib.
Sure.
Fine, sir. Your trainers, and we have got a lot of job requirements also. We need to train them accordingly.
This is a new kind of Deshbhakti. Deshbhakti सिर्फ border पे नहीं है, ये भी देशभक्ति है. Patriotism का एक नया आज वैसे कारगिल विजय दिवस भी है, तो कारगिल विजय दिवस की आप सबको शुभकामनाएं. और आज के दिन कारगिल की हमारी फतेह हुई थी, और मैं कह रहा हूँ कि देशभक्ति के कई आयाम हैं. Not only once you go to the border, even though you are here and as an entrepreneur and as an industrialist, if you help somebody gets job, possibly that person सिर्फ उसकी जिंदगी सुधर नहीं रही है, पूरा समाज सुधर रहा है. कहीं गलत अगर वो गलत कहीं चला गया होता तो सबको मुसीबत होती. So that's what I'm with folded hands. I'm requesting that please help me with the
Sir, we are there with you, sir.
employment of these two slums. So and they're not really slums. Let me tell you, they're all well-behaved boys, girls. They also have aspirations. They have ambitions. It's not really slum. I have worked hard on the slums to give them basic amenities, roads, toilets, street lights, even CCTV cameras. So there are many things I have already given them. But then if a job is given in the hand, that would be the contribution.
And the first thing that I think in India we need to change one attitude, which I've seen in the West. कोई भी काम छोटा नहीं होता है. You find a lot of very senior people. They will do, like in Corona times, who don't have a job. They will go and wait tables and nobody will say anything. India mein jo hota hai, once you come to a certain, especially Bharti Sahib, he went to IIT and all. IIT mein gaya, so some things are requirement. I don't know what your people are saying about doing politics and all that, because I was a student leader myself. I know how politics is looked upon in India. So my wife hides from people that ye politics karta tha.
चर्चा रखेंगे अलग से.
हाँ.
चर्चा रखेंगे.
We got a debate topic.
Meritocracy कैसे attract करें? Because politics में meritocracy का आना बहुत जरूरी है.
That is why I was there, no? And I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Bharti, two things we have in common. You went to IIT, we did medical, and that is where we learned how to problem solve and also create a little bit of problem. And politics is the highest leadership school. Okay, you do MBA courses and all that you do. You ask Mr. Bharti, politics mein, everything is your problem. Okay, whether there is a reason or unreason, it's a 24-hour, 7 days job. मैं तो भागा है London में यार. They said ये बनो वो बनो. I was with, in those days there was no app. I was with NSY and all that. So वो तो 24 घंटा ये वहाँ झमेला हुआ. That is a problem. But you learn, and you must realize that politics is very micro, and that is where you learn what is governance. Another thing what we need to know is what is the bigger picture. Okay, some things can be done, some things cannot be done. Somnath Bharti is a human being. He's not Bhagwan that like he will get like Captain Saab jobs for everybody in the community. And if you cannot get jobs for everybody in the community, punishment in the corporate world, you get on this thing, you won't get your promotion or you won't get little bit of, increment. But politics, anything can happen to you. From Raja, you might become.
We can have a different discussion for that. Raj sir, Somnath sir has given a very good idea to us that roughly all the member of parliament, all the MLAs, they don't have good secretaries, and all of them require. If I think that is correct, Somnath sir.
Yes, yes. See, support staff ऐसे देवाशीष जी ने जो कहा, मैं उनको थोड़ा सा ऐड कर दूं.
जी सर.
ऐसा है कि the best minds of the country should come to politics. That's my humble submission. Because we are the guys, we have the legislative power. We legislate laws. We can change the destiny. And एक बार law हमने tweak कर दिया, तो आपकी मुसीबत हो जाएगी.
Correct.
ये, I don't want few industrialists, few crony capitalists to take over the government. That is what's happening. So the moment you have meritorious people in the politics, then no single industrialist or crony capitalist can take us for ride. Because वो lobbying हर जगह होता है, वो अमेरिका में भी होता है, यूके में भी हर जगह होता है, वो तो मुसीबत हर जगह है. लेकिन हमारे यहाँ क्या है कि we are not, sort of, we don't even know. If you look at the parliament discussion on right to education, तो आपको बुलानी होगी आपको अपने ऊपर. जी क्या मांग रहे हैं वो? उसमें मांग रहे हैं कि जी क्या उसमें जुराब मिलेगा? Will they get socks or not? Will they get what quality of shoes you will give them? There is not any discussion on the quality of education. Education. When Manish ji and Arvind ji and all of us sit there and then we talk of our schools, जो हमारे स्कूलों की चर्चा है, हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम की चर्चा है, दिल्ली मॉडल हम कर रहे हैं. तो अगर इसमें सिर्फ एक ही टीचिंग है कि जी फोकस यहाँ होना चाहिए. पॉलिटिशियन का, मैं इसलिए मैंने कहा था कि और किसी और दिन रखेंगे हम वो चर्चा, कि पॉलिटिशियन का फोकस कहाँ है. इसलिए हाथ जोड़ के विनती करता हूँ कि आप लोग भी अपने बच्चों को या एक ट्रेनिंग स्कूल खोलो कि भैया देश में बेस्ट माइंड चाहिए पॉलिटिक्स में. ऐसे काम नहीं चलेगा. I mean, somebody has been a cook with some politician, he gets MLA ticket. Somebody has been a driver of a politician, he gets MLA ticket. Somebody has been, too close, Safai Karamchari, he gets. I'm saying all of this, they should get MLA tickets. But question is, उनकी क्वालिटी भी तो देखनी पड़ेगी, क्या दे सकते हैं. Not necessarily MA BA होना चाहिए, लेकिन कुछ तो क्राइटेरिया रखोगे भाई, जिससे कि आप अभी अपने कोई भी सिस्टम में किसी को अप्लाई करते हो, व्हाट डू यू से, ये क्राइटेरिया है जी. चलो क्वालिफिकेशन मान लो क्राइटेरिया अगर ना भी हो, तो कम से कम कोई साइकोलॉजिकल, कोई एनालिटिकल कुछ तो टेस्ट रखोगे. Something has to be there. Not necessarily you have to be a BA and MA to be intelligent. We had Dhirubhai Ambani ji also, who was 5th pass, and then he created the biggest empire of the country. What I'm saying, so let us focus on that area also, because that's what Parnabji was saying. So वहाँ में भी दो फोल्ड है कि जो existing lot है, जैसे मेरे जैसे लोग, हम आ गए, IIT पढ़े हैं, लॉयर हैं, बहुत कुछ किया है, लेकिन हमारा ओरिएंटेशन गवर्नेंस की तरफ, कि गवर्नेंस को कैसे करना है, एक ओरिएंटेशन वो. दूसरा, effective staffs, effective secretaries, effective administrators in my office, effective my communication in charge, even effective drivers, because drivers also not ordinary drivers can't survive with me. My work is different. Okay. So you have a different, interesting sector available. I think there are, almost every MLA, every MP would latch on to you कि जी हमें एक अच्छा secretary दे दो, who can manage. मैं बैठा हूँ अभी बात कर रहा हूँ आपसे, तो my secretary should be here to keep noting कि सोमनाथ जी ने क्या कहा, and then immediately go out and bring some research papers and say कि सर ये इसमें ये कर सकते हैं. कोई effective secretary की बहुत जरूरत है politicians को, not for the other purpose, जो purpose आपको favorite है. I don't want to tell you on this, but then you very well know. For governance. So governance के लिए अगर आप हमें ये, मैंने प्रणव को बोला है कि अगर वो हमें ट्रेनिंग करें या कुछ ओरिएंटेशन करें, एक तो MLAs MPs के लिए खुद भी, उनको भी चाहिए होता है. Very simple thing. I have to ask in the assembly questions. Every department का we have a question answer session. सो 1 आवर हमारा असेंबली जब लगती है तो 1 घंटा क्वेश्चन आवर्स के लिए मिलता है। आपने देखा होगा। तो क्वेश्चन आवर्स में क्या पूछ रहे हो, क्या पूछना चाहिए? Getting me? Making executive accountable to the legislative. That is the need, because checks and balances हैं। पार्लियामेंट ने, बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर ने जो संविधान लिखा उस पर चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेज हैं, लेकिन उसको इंप्लीमेंट कौन करेगा, एक्टिवेट कौन करेगा? So there are ways of making sure that this executive must work. Getting me?
Yeah, I think coming back to skill set, Somnath Saab, I think we do need political commitment, and that is very good that we have you on board so that we can implement these things. And I think we should now listen to some other views so that your, hands become very stronger. Pranav, do you want to? Yeah.
I would like to thank everyone. Whenever Somnath sir comes, the debate goes pretty long and very interesting also.
एक चीज मैं कहना चाहूंगा सोमनाथ जी को। सोमनाथ जी देखिए, आज के टाइम में डिजिटल वर्ल्ड है और सेक्रेटरीज इन सब लोगों की जरूरत नहीं है। आजकल सब लोग चाहते हैं खुद काम करें, और एज यू सेड यू आर आईटी एंड अ लॉयर, सो अपने आप खुद काम करने का ही मजा अलग है बेसिकली। एंड सबसे बड़ी बात,
देखिए आप मेरे पास जब आते हो तो वो प्रणव ने देखा है, I'll dictate my letter myself, get a printout in the next printer, sign
everything.
बट क्या है कि देखिए जब आप बात करते हो ना, क्योंकि जब तक वो उस तरह के लोग नहीं आते,
जी हाँ,
मतलब आपको सोचना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज हमारे यहाँ कोई, अब आई डोंट थिंक कोई पॉलिटिशियन आपको अलाउ करे कि जी, कोई पार्टी अलाउ करे कि आप अमेंडमेंट कर दो, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट, सिर्फ MA BA की डिग्री लेके लोग आए, ऐसा होगा नहीं इस देश में। तो आपको वो सेकेंड लेयर ऑफ support system.
Help, you want a help.
Technical support all the time with you.
Yeah.
Some technical support you require. Yes.
Sir, we are there, sir. And thank you Sharad sir. Thank you Devashish. You joined all the way from England. Thank you Raj Nehru sir.
Thank you very much. You're most welcome.
I have to torture you and give 10 minutes notice or 5 minutes notice, and he comes also. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I think it's a real pleasure.
Somnath sir, without you, I think it was not possible.
You are the person who has been putting everybody together. So God has sent you for some purpose. ये देशभक्ति भी पूरी करनी है आपको। जितने हमारे साथ ज्वाइन किए हैं, देवाशीष भी हमारे साथी हैं, वो अमेरिका, इंग्लैंड से ज्वाइन किया हुआ उन्होंने। तो आई थिंक wherever you are an Indian.
Yes.
इंडिया तो प्रायोरिटी रहेगी।